For days, Imran Khan's supporters have slowly marched towards the capital demanding his release from prison. The jailed former Prime Minister branding the demonstration as the final call. A call Pakistan's security forces responded to forcefully. Public gatherings are banned and paramilitary units have deployed across the capital. Human rights groups like Amnesty International accuse authorities of unlawful action and using excessive force. A charge echoed on the streets.
The security forces killed our colleague and we need justice for him. Look at these shells that they fired on us. But we are determined to achieve the release of our leader Imran Khan.
Look at my shoulder. It has an injury. We have been on the road the last 3 days and we will continue to fight, even if we have to die for the release of Imran Khan.
The Interior Ministry has deployed the army to protect diplomatic missions in what is known as Islamabad's red zone. The Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif described the protest as extremism.
This is not a peaceful protest. I have in my hand shells of tear gas. I have in my hand marbles which are being pelted upon the police personnel and the rangers.
Khan's been in jail since August last year, facing a raft of criminal charges his supporters say are politically motivated. Both Khan, his wife and his party workers have repeatedly faced legal action.
I am requesting that you all reach the capital at any cost, even if we have to stay for a sit-in until your leader Imran Khan is released. We will continue to stay, even if you have to face starvation.
Security forces fired at the crowd, live rounds, rubber bullets and tear gas canisters. Then they left the area. But the protesters are determined to make another attempt to come to this venue, which is Islamabad's red zone and home to government buildings. Supporters of Khan say the crisis demands a political solution to a political problem. But authorities look set to charge Khan with more criminal charges, including terror-related offences in the coming days. Kamal Haider, Al Jazeera, Islamabad.
Police have fired tear gas at supporters of Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan in Islamabad. At least 7 people were killed and dozens have been injured. Tens of thousands of Khan's supporters and PTI party members have marched to the capital on Monday to demand their leader's release. Security forces had locked down the city to prevent demonstrations. The protest march comes ahead of a court hearing where Khan is expected to face terrorism charges. Kamal Khader is joining us now live from Islamabad. So we understand that Khan's supporters have crossed several barriers so far. Talk us through what's been happening, Kamal.
Indeed, they've had to cross those barriers all the way from the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, from the Punjab, wherever they've been coming from. They've faced obstacles, containers, barricades, and they've had scuffles with the police. But right now, the scene of the action right now is outside our office. And of course, the paramilitary forces are also using automatic fire. They're firing over the heads of the protesters. They're also using intense tear gas shelling. But that has not deterred the protesters who have already arrived at D Square, which is situated right where we are. And right now, those protesters, they fall back when they come under fire or under tear gas, and then they come back to this place. So, indeed, a very tense situation here in Islamabad. And of course, it is an active scene because we have right now the Rangers, which are just outside where we are, and they're using automatic fire to try to control the crowd. But the crowd is still able to move. We can see from our window, and you're probably able to see people are now coming. They're running towards the security forces, and you can hear the firing in the background as well. So, very tense situation indeed. And of course, a lot of people here in Pakistan would say that there is a constitutional right for people to protest peacefully, so the government should have handled this more carefully. Go ahead.
Please forgive me for interrupting you, but I did want to ask you about what's happening behind you. We can see quite fairly clearly some of the protesters there and some things being thrown. When you say that the military is firing on the crowds, are you able to describe to us what kind of ammunition they're using? Is it tear gas or is it live ammunition?
They are using assault They're using live assault rifles. These are Kalashnikovs, AK-47. They're using, as you can hear that, they're using automatic fire, and they're also throwing in tear gas. As you can see, the fighting is now very close to where we are. And we've, of course, had to move in here for our own safety because you cannot walk outside. There is a thick cloud of tear gas, and of course, the situation very tense. We saw some of the injured being carried away by the protesters. They have complained that many of them are injured, and but they say that they will not budge. More people are expected to arrive here, and it will be important to see how the government deals with this, because right now what we can hear is a volley of automatic fire that is over the heads of these protesters. And the fear is that if there are more casualties, this situation could easily spin out of control.
Kamal, thank you very much indeed. Kamal Haider talking to us from Islamabad there.
Now to Pakistan, where thousands of supporters of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan have forced their way into the capital, Islamabad. Several people have been killed and dozens wounded in clashes with security forces. Authorities have blocked the streets with shipping containers to stop Mr. Khan's supporters from entering the city.
Battling their way through the lockdown streets of Islamabad, Khan's supporters seem determined to answer his call to occupy Pakistan's capital. Stinging clouds of tear gas failed to stop their progress. They also broke their way through the walls of shipping containers the authorities had placed to prevent their march towards Parliament and the city's fortified governmental zone. Several deaths have been reported amongst both security force members and civilians. With thousands of personnel deployed on the streets, Pakistan's Interior Minister has warned that the police have been given permission to decide on the use of force. Despite the risk of injury and arrest, supporters of Khan and his PTI party show no signs of stopping until the former Prime Minister is released.
We are here only on Imran Khan's call. He told us to come here not for him, but for ours and our country's sakes. That's the reason we are here. We will stay here until Khan himself is here with us and tells us what to do next.
Khan has been in jail for over a year and faces some 150 criminal charges that he maintains are politically motivated. Even imprisoned, he's remained one of Pakistan's most popular politicians. He's demonstrated that again in Islamabad, with thousands answering his call to protest. But the government still looks unwilling to compromise, maintaining that only the courts and not his supporters' anger can secure Khan's release.
Zulfi Bukhari is a senior leader of Imran Khan's PTI party. He advises the former Prime Minister on international relations and the media and joins us from London. Welcome to DW. I saw today on social media Imran Khan saying that we will fight till the end, we will not back down. How far will protesters go to secure his release?
Well, Imran Khan hasn't been able to speak to leaders. These are more just generic statements. But Imran Khan party and his workers, his wife, who's leading the protests, are there. And we just want to do a peaceful sit-in. They're in Islamabad. Why are innocent, workers and protesters being attacked that don't have anything more than a mobile phone or some water with them? We've had about 4 people who have been killed. One's been run over by a car. 3 have been shot dead. I have a worker of mine from my own constituency who's now, as we speak, is battling an operation, being shot in the leg. So, things are turning in the wrong direction for no reason. It's just a peaceful protest. That's our only call.
You say it's a peaceful protest. 2 police officers have been killed in these clashes. That doesn't sound very peaceful.
Well, when you're trying to stop and tear gas, moving containers in the way of hundreds of thousands of people, it's an unfortunate incident. The former First Lady, the Chief Minister, Ali Amin Gandapur, have come out on the container and said, remain peaceful. We've protected the Rangers in many ways, walked them past so that nothing happens to them. unfortunately, when there's a clash, these are incidents, and none of them have been attacked by protesters. They've fallen or been hit by a container or something of the sort. So again, anything that happens is really on the government, because the government should have just said, okay, you have full right for peaceful assembly in the capital. And that's all we asked for until our demands were met.
So how far will protesters go to secure Mr. Khan's release? But bearing in mind that he's been in jail for more than a year now.
He's been in jail for more than a year and a half. We have the UN working group on illegal arbitrary detention giving a judgment that he's there illegally and should be released immediately. We've got Amnesty International, and he's got bails on all his cases. He got bail last week, and they just keep putting him in for a further 5 days on remand. It's not as how far we will go, and it's not just about his release. We put three demands down that we want to revoke the 26th Amendment, which basically got rid of the judiciary's independence. We want the judiciary to be absolutely independent from the executive. We want our stolen mandate to be given back to us that we won in this 2024 election. And of course, last but not least, we want Imran Khan and all political prisoners that are in jail to be released. We've had maybe about 5,000 people arrested in the last 48 hours.
And if your demands aren't met?
Then we will carry on sitting there until they are.
Political tensions have been on the rise for some time. Is the country at a tipping point, do you believe?
Well, really, the tipping point was 2 years ago when all this started. And then we just thought that perhaps the establishment would allow, I wouldn't even say a free and fair election, I'd use the word a relatively free and fair election. But the way that was so badly and abruptly rigged, it just increased everything else. The country is, it's got terrorism problems in the last 2 years are rampant, yet all the law enforcement, all the agencies are being used to somehow corner Imran Khan and his political party in Pakistan and not worrying about the hundreds of deaths that have taken place with terrorism. It's not a coincidence that terrorism is increased in the country. It's not a coincidence that the economy is in shambles. It's not a coincidence that the entire population despises the government. This has all happened because you have rigged an election and you've not let Pakistan remain a democracy any longer.
Thanks for joining us. Zulfi Bukhari, advisor to Imran Khan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Journalist Adnan Amir is in the Pakistani capital. Welcome, Adnan. What's the atmosphere there like?
So as of now, the PTI, the party of Imran Khan, a forward group of the supporters of PTI has reached a place called D Chowk. It's a square just located 500 meters away from Pakistan's parliament. So that was the targeted location of the protesters, and they have successfully reached there. Now the PTI has announced that they will hold a sit-in protest at this location until Imran Khan, their leader, is released. But there are still skirmishes with the police. There are still some tear gassing that is taking place, and Islamabad is still blocked. Situation is still tense. Life is still paralyzed, and that's why the people of Islamabad, they just want a timely resolution of this problem.
Mr. Khan has been in jail for more than a year. Why are his supporters taking to the streets now?
Yeah, well, in the past, the supporters of Khan, they used to hold political gatherings in Islamabad in different cities, but then the government stopped giving them permissions to hold the gatherings. So now they have changed their strategy, and now they're holding these marches, these political protest marches, because they don't need permission for these marches, and these are also more effective in terms of putting more pressure in government. And it's evident that the government has completely failed to prevent these people from entering into Islamabad, despite placing more than 1,200 shipping containers and thousands of security personnel. So this is a pressure tactic, and it has worked.
And remind us, Adnan, why is Imran Khan in jail?
So Imran Khan was arrested on charges of corruption, abuse of power, and misappropriation of state gifts. But he was acquitted in most of these cases, one after the other. And whenever he is acquitted, the government books him in another case. Now he is booked in more than 100 cases, including the death of policeman who was killed unfortunately yesterday. So that's why the PTI supporters, they believe that these cases are politically motivated, and only way to get Khan out of the prison is by pressuring government through protest marches like this.
Right. So how do you expect this to end? Do you expect Khan to be released, or do you expect the demonstrations to continue?
Well, it's really hard to say as of this moment, because both sides, they are not ready to relent. The government says that we are not going to make any deal, we will not release Khan. And the protesters are saying that we are not going back until a deal is made. So there are some back channel negotiations are going on, but it's too early to say. And that's why I see that this protest, this demonstration, they can prolong for some days. And that means that life will continue to be paralyzed here. But as of now, there's no indication of an early settlement of this problem.
OK, thank you for that. Journalist Adnan Amir in Islamabad.